Hey guys, today we're doing 3 eyeshadow looks with the Ghostface Lives palette. If you would like to see the entire palette swatch and more, you can go to my previous unboxing Glamlite video. Okay, we're starting off with my base. This is the base that I'll use for all 3 looks. Starting with e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, I put a small amount on my finger and rub it all over my lids, just under my brows. Next, I use the Fenty Beauty Concealer in the shade 350 while using a beauty blender. Now, I know you're supposed to wet the sponge before you use it, but on this day I completely forgot. Using the Ultimate Setting Powder by One Size in the shade Sweet Honey, sorry. I tap this powder on my lids, making sure everything is covered. I used a big brush to wipe it away, all of the excess powder. First eyeshadow look from this palette is what I considered an easy, light looking look. Going in with the shade Pure Ghostface, I'm starting on the outer corner of my eye and making a smoky-ish effect. I think I've mentioned this before in the unboxing video, but blending some of the shadows becomes patchy. So there's a couple of times where I had to keep trying to pack on the shadow. It just wouldn't stick. This is really a pretty purple though. Not too dark, but also not too light. Does that make sense? Next, I'm using sharpest knife on my lid, kind of creating a cut crease look. I'm putting this shade close to Pure Ghostface to kind of blend them together. Also putting a bit more Pure Ghostface in the corner of my eye, it started looking patchy. After putting some primer under my eye, as well as concealer and translucent powder, just to kind of clean up the fallout from the eyeshadows. do the other eye. BRB. Okay, now I'm putting these long-ish lashes that I sell on Etsy. I'm using the dual lash glue and applying it like an eyeliner. I found this to be easier for me than putting glue on the actual lash. So as I lay the lash down, I push them up just a little bit to kind of cover the strip as well as making the lashes curve up. Does that make sense? Next, I'm putting on highlighter with the Rick and Morty Trio highlight. Since this is a purpley look, we're going with Anomaly. And just swiping this on my cheekbones and I'm done. This is it for look number 1 for the Ghostface Lives palette. There's more pictures on my Instagram if you're interested. Alright, and we're on our second eyeshadow look, starting off with Ghostly Gray. I'm looking to do a halo-ish shape with this eyeshadow. Going from the outer corner to the inner corner of the eye and try to flare it out. And I gotta say that it was becoming patchy as I was blending this out. Now I don't know if it was because of my brushes or it was just me or it was the palette, but I'll test that theory another day. Moving on to the second shadow, Curfew Hour. I'm putting this closer to my lid and trying to blend it outwards with Ghostly Gray. To be honest, I wasn't liking how this was starting to turn out, but we got to see it through. Going back and forth between the two main colors I was using because one would make the other fade and become patchy looking. So I eventually gave up and started on cutting the crease. I used P. Louise base in the shade Rumor 0 and a liner brush. A small amount on the brush and I made a mark in the middle of my lid and drew the crease a little bit more. I usually make my crease a little higher than it is naturally because of my hooded eyes and my glasses. So following the crease on my lid, I made a curved line from the inner corner of my eye to the mark I made in the middle and filled in the space. While doing this, I do not connect the cut crease to the outer corner of my eye. Instead, I kind of blend it to the second shadow, which you'll see later will put more to completely blend it better, if that makes sense. Once that's done, we're putting two shimmers called Mirror Gleam and Ghostface Lives on the lid. Putting the lighter one first, we're starting with the inner corner and working our way outward. Then we put the darker shimmer and working our way inward to overlap the second one. At first I wasn't liking it because it was coming out darker than I intended to, but putting more of the lighter shimmer kind of worked, so okay, BRB, gonna work on the other eye off camera. Alright, now that we're back, we're putting concealer under our eyes to get rid of the fallout and the dark circles. Now that's done, we're moving on to lashes. Curling the lashes so that way they're not so straight when I put the strips on. P.S. These are the same lashes from the last look. Same glue. I usually don't use different glue when I'm doing a look, but the dual lash glue will be my favorite. So putting the glue on as it were eyeliner, then putting the lash, and then pushing it up. Don't forget to use your mascara to tie the lashes together. I'm using My Benefit mascara. As for highlight, I'm using Midnight Robe. Simple swipe on the cheek and blending it out. This one was really shiny. And that's it for look number 2. Moving on to look 3, I'm using Vintage Mask and an angled brush to make a wing on the outer corner of my eye. I usually don't like to make wing eyeliner because one always comes out too long or lopsided. After making the wing, I tried to blend it out and tried to make it smoky, but it was hard, especially in black. I used a fluffy brush and it didn't work. I went back and forth with the angled brush and it worked just a little bit better, but it was starting to take the color away. Eventually, I used my finger to blend it. I put on Vengeful Spirit on the inner corner of my eye to add a little shimmy to it, but it wasn't shimmying. I ended up having to scoop a little bit on the brush and put it on my eye. After doing that, I cleaned up under my eyes. I went back and tried to fix it a little bit more with a thin liner brush with concealer under the shadow liner to make it more crisp. At this point, one of the liners was lopsided and they were both starting to look patchy. Basically, a lot of back and forth again. deciding it's good enough, I put on Mirror Gleam as highlight on the cheek, temples, tip, and the bridge of my nose. Next, lashes. Curling the lashes and dual glue on the lash line. Same lashes as last time. I'm sorry, I really do like these lashes. They're like universal lashes. And that completes the look for number 3. Which one was your favorite? Which one would you try? Let me know in the comments. Okay, bye.